Welcome to this week's episode of Digital Advisor Weekly, where we're going to be talking about how to grow your audience and the engagement of your audience so that you can build more leads and turn them into clients from the LinkedIn platform. So we've got some great information to help you scale your business. Stick around for this week's episode of the Digital Advisor Weekly.
Welcome to the Digital Advisor Weekly broadcast. Looking to boost your business with the latest trends, innovative tech, and must-have resources? Join us to discover how to successfully scale your practice and automate the process. Here to guide you is your host, the dynamic leader of Advisor Marketing Hub and managing partner at American Financial, Rob Souza.
Well, as always, going live, slow start, big gaps, but hey, you're always going to have technical issues, and I want you to be authentic anyways. If you ever go live on any of the platforms, thank you for joining us today. LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, thank you for joining us today. Give us a shout out. Let us know if you are either a financial advisor, life insurance agent, even a business owner, or a PR manager, virtual assistant. Let us know where either you or your client is from in the chat, and we're going to jump in and start talking about how we can stand out and grow engagement on the LinkedIn platform so that you can utilize the time and effort that you've been putting in to building out your profile. So if you are struggling to get engagement on LinkedIn, well, I have a question for you. Are you just posting and ghosting? It's a famous challenge question that Shanae Moret always asks her students. But if you take a second and if you're on LinkedIn and you look up Shanae Moret, notice how many followers she has on LinkedIn. If I'm not mistaken, it's over 1 million. She's one of the most influential LinkedIn personalities or influencers on LinkedIn. And so I take her advice. So if you are just posting, getting 1 or 2, maybe 3 likes, maybe a colleague is saying, great stuff, that's not helping you build your engagement. And the idea here is that if you want to date in the real world, you have to have conversations. If you don't have conversations, nobody's going to go out on a date with you. And if you want to get engaged, you can't get engaged unless you go out on enough dates in order for somebody to like, know, and trust you to want to become a client and marry their business with yours, especially when it comes to financial advising, because you're talking about family assets and legacy. So super important. You can't be a one-way poster. If you want to do that, that's great. Yeah, your LinkedIn account will show up and the search engines, it'll help you with SEO. But when people go to check your content, they're not going to see much engagement. And what does that communicate? It communicates that you're not providing enough value to the right audience, or the right audience isn't engaging. And so how do we change that narrative? Well, it's got to be changing your mindset and behavior about your engagement with others. What you want from LinkedIn, you have to give. Don't just be a taker, because people will see through that, especially in the sales financial advisor industry. If you're just a taker, then people will not see the benefit of what you're providing to the community. Okay, so question for you. How often are you engaging on LinkedIn? So thank you for hanging in there with us. Thank you for the comments. Appreciate that. Talking about comments, we're going through here. Yeah, so we have people from California. We have PR managers from the Philippines. Let's see. Yeah, guilty of posting and ghosting. You're not the only one. Trust me, I have gone through seasons of doing the same thing, but the best results I've ever gotten is when I'm not doing that. see, just going through comments here. Thank you guys for joining us. And um, again, if you could post the cities that if you're a PR manager, what cities are your clients in? Because that's most important, because people are looking to see what are their colleagues doing around the United States. So that would be super helpful. I'll keep monitoring those comments. And in the meantime, if you're struggling to get engagement, then the first question, we already asked that question: how often are you engaging on LinkedIn? That means commenting on other people's posts, whether it's in a group or whether it's other people's actual engaged posts with other comments on it. How often are you commenting? And in order to do that, so do me a favor and answer that question for me. Whether it's a client or whether it's you, how often, how many comments per day are you putting on LinkedIn yourself? Because that's how many you can expect to get on a daily basis if you're not posting. So if you want to increase engagement, you've got to engage. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking, I don't want to be on LinkedIn all day long. Well, as financial advisors, life insurance agents, business owners, we are our brand. We have to represent our brand. And it's important that we get out there and we're making new relationships. That's called prospecting. And what better way to do it than from the comfort of your own home with a phone in your hand and going out and finding relationships? The trick is, how do you focus that energy onto the most effective posts? Because I really want you only posting where your target audience is hanging out. So the first thing is, you got to know your target audience. If you don't know your target audience, then you don't know how to find influencers and groups and events that your target audience hangs out at. You're looking for the biggest concentration of people that are your target audience. Now, the more you niche down, the better, because the easier it is to find that particular niche. If you just say business owners, well, then that's pretty much everybody on LinkedIn. So now your competition is millions and millions of people. If your niche is a ranch or farm owner throughout the United States, that's going to narrow it significantly down. Now, they happen to not be significantly on LinkedIn because they're out working their ranch or managing their ranch. If you're looking at doctors, that's easier to find. That's searchable. I can search for a particular hospital and I can reach out to all of certain physicians within that hospital, dentists. You know what I'm saying? Find your target audience. And then you've got to go engage with groups and influencers who have your target audience. Now, everybody asks me the same question: how do you do that? Well, here's a few ideas. And one, if you turn on your notifications, your LinkedIn notifications, and just make sure that you take a look at them, you'll notice that this week I got a notification from LinkedIn that says, add interesting content to your feed. Here's a few recommendations to get started. Now, what's nice about this particular, I'm actually not going to take these ideas and use them for my feed. What I'm going to do is take a look at these people. Jennifer has 53,000 followers. That's a huge audience, probably 10 times bigger than the average business owner. Now, the question is, does she have an audience of the type of people I personally am looking for to connect and engage with? Well, the only way to know that is to click on her profile, excuse me, and then take a look at the types of people who are following. Now, I particularly work with business owners, financial advisors, life insurance agents. So I'm going to go down to activity and I passed it up, show all posts. And what I'm looking for is lots of engagement. Yes, she has a big, 23 comments. There you go. So now the question is also, she's a life coach, empowering modern day men to fight. Okay, so that doesn't specifically mention business owner, financial advisor, life insurance agent. So this is an influencer, but not the type of influencer I need. So I'll skip over that one and you can go through this entire list, repeat the process, and make sure you keep track of those who have large audience. There's 310,000 followers And so again, look for your target audience. This more the niche, easier it will be to find where they hang out. You also can join groups. So on LinkedIn, if I go back to my homepage, I scroll down and I've joined the biggest groups I can of where my target audience is gathering, and then engage with the members of that group who have the largest following and make sure that I comment on those participants within that group. So we already talked about where is an influencer. We've already talked about how to find them. We just went through that. And I use the 10 and 10 rule. Now, recently I've discovered that I could use the 10 and 10 and 10 rule, which would be 10 comments to the 10 most engaged participants in a group, 10 biggest influencers who have my audience on their posts, and then 10 people that are attending the same event that I am that happen to be my target audience. So if I did that every day, when I was doing that every day, which was during the pandemic, I had the busiest calendar I've ever had with introductory meetings, and in the second year of the pandemic, made the most amount of money in growth up to that point because I had nothing else to do other than to engage and connect and build relationships with friends and clients I have to this day. So absolutely worth it. Okay, so now we have to get into the nitty gritty commenting basics. Like, okay, so what do I say? Because this great job, great stuff, congratulations isn't really commenting. Because engagement is really asking a question, getting an answer, going back and forth, getting to know people, people getting to know you. And that's truly what engagement is. So, my formula that I use in a first comment on a post or in a group on a comment uh, or at an event is compliment whoever's post it is, their content, compliment the content, add your opinion. Why? Because you need to be seen as a thought leader. If you don't have creative ideas in addition to what's being posted by the content creator, then you're not going to be seen. You're just going to be seen as another follower. You need to be seen as a co-leader, a co-influencer. So you have to add your opinion. Now, it's challenging to learn how to do that because you don't want to upset or exploit the content creator. So the other rule of thumb is don't like every single comment and comment on every single comment, because you will look like a spammer to the content creator and you are likely to get blocked. Make it genuine. I say for every 10 comment, or yeah, for every 10 comments in a post, maybe choose one to comment. First, start out by commenting the author. And then for every 10 posts, you could add another comment to one of the biggest followers, sorry, the biggest commenter who has the biggest amount of followers on their profile, and they become a target client of yours, or client prospect that hopefully you will turn into a client. And so super important, follow the 10 and 10 rule. Follow 10 influencers. Maybe you follow more. Maybe you follow 20 influencers because they're not going to post every day, and make sure that you do 10 comments minimum on 10 posts from the influencers you follow, and then do the same in groups and do the same in events. So, and you can search in the search bar. So let me go ahead and show. There we go. Now we actually can see my screen and you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so here was that email notification that I was talking about. So Jennifer, 53,000 followers, Bill Gates, 35 million, 200,000 for Steven. So you guys can see the suggestions by LinkedIn notifications helps you determine influencers you may want to check out. Now on my feed, you can also scroll through your feed. Now, as I happen to scroll through my feed, I can see I'm looking for the number of comments. So here's 12 comments. Ed Slot's one of the influencers I do follow. Right now, he has no comments on this post, so I may skip over that. And as I scroll down, 7 comments, 31 comments, and he's a broking, is that what he says? Advice corporate. Okay, so maybe not exactly the right fit. So I would just keep going until I found a post that has more than 10 comments with the right audience. Now, typically, I keep track of these influencers either using Sales Navigator or a third-party tool. Here's my saved profiles with the 10 influencers that I follow. And I can see their recent activity by simply clicking on a button. And so Derek would be the one of the day, and I could go to Derek's profile and 12 comments already. This was posted a day ago. And then I could go ahead, looks like my PR manager has already liked and already commented. I'll bet you if I see comments, I'll see my comment in there. There it is. There's my comment. Now, it hasn't been responded to, but if you use a third-party tool or Sales Navigator, you can go back and you can, like, should be recent activity here and home, recent activity. So you can see their comments that I can keep track of, see all comments. These are all the comments, and I can go and check on these comments, but let's go back to yesterday, and we're going to check out, let's see if we can go back to our influencers, save profiles. So let's go to Gunner. We'll see the recent activity, brings me here. Again, you can do this in Sales Navigator, or you can just keep track of putting them in a list, which you can do also without Sales Navigator as well. But you can see here is all of his posts. Let's see the post I commented in. I know that because I'll see a blue look how many times he posts every single day. Talk about somebody who's engaged. Plus, he has a ton of comments. So if I look at the comments, there's my comment. Look, Gunner replied to me, and then I replied back to Gunner using that same formula. Great breakdown, Gunner. It's amazing how many people overlook the simplicity of bonds. That's my opinion. And given your, and now here comes the question, given your explanation, how do you think bonds compare to other investment options in terms of risk and return? He gives me an answer, and then the formula does not apply to a reply to a reply. You don't want to go on and bombard the author or content creator. So just compliment them. Your breakdown is spot on. Bonds are like you, and then I'm adding a little bit of humor here, and so you can incorporate your own humor. Our unsung heroes in the investment world, just trying to be more relatable. So that's the basic formula, and I may go down and like some of these other posts, but you can see Gunner is very engaged. He replies to every comment on every post. And so he is actually an ideal client of mine that I found was following because he's so engaged. He was on 3 of my other influencers' posts. So I then am trying to build a relationship with Gunner. So I make sure I post on all his posts as I develop a relationship with him. By the time I reach out to him and ask to connect, not just connect on LinkedIn, I'm talking about connect over the phone or connect in person. He's going to know exactly who I am because of all the notifications he's getting of the conversations that we're having. I'm telling you, engagement is more powerful than posting. If you're not engaging, your posts are not going to grow. Your impressions are not going to grow. I know that because every time I stop engaging, my engagement goes down. I can see here, we stepped it up last week because this is another video on increasing engagement. So we've done our best job of increasing our engagement, and our post impressions grew. And we had 651 post impressions last week during the 4th of July, which is one of the slowest weeks ever. So it does work. I'm telling you, you're going to exponentially see growth And there's no better way, especially to work around the 100 connection request limitations that are set on us by LinkedIn. Because remember, if you engage with somebody enough to where they actually want to connect with you and send you the connection request, well, then that doesn't count against your 100 connections for the week. You just were able to bypass that by getting them engaged enough in comments to get them to reach out to you and want to either connect or start a conversation. Okay, so let's get started and actually put into action what we're talking about here. So if you're on YouTube or Facebook, like, comment if you haven't already, and subscribe. That's how we build our audiences, and the larger our audience grows, the larger your audience will grow if you are a part of that. It's an inertia. Everybody's, I'm hoping, heard the quote, rising tides raise all boats. If you are in 10, if you're connected to 10 influencers and you're engaging and their engagement goes up, your engagement goes up. And if you're doing that times 10, it'll be times 10. So it's important that you understand the rule of reciprocity. Lead by example, and people will want to follow. I promise you. All right. So the next question I get is, well, before I get to this question, which is already posted, which is fine. What if I'm too busy? I don't have time to be spending an hour on LinkedIn every day. Okay, I'll push back a little bit and say, if you're not spending an hour prospecting every day, you're going to have a hard time winning in this business, because prospecting is an essential part of succeeding in the financial industry. Okay, so this is seeing here, checking questions here. Building relationships through common interactions. Yep, key to networking. Thank you, Jackie. Looking for questions. Complimenting posts. Yep, but don't just compliment. Make sure that you ask a question. Yes, making sure that you also keep track of wishing people happy birthday, congratulate them on engagements. Very good. All right, so I don't see any other questions. So we're going to continue with the questions on the screen, and that is, are you too busy? And the option is to hire a PR manager and use AI. Why do I say use AI? If you want a PR manager that really knows your business, you either going to have to hire somebody local full-time who works in your office every single day so that they can learn your business intimately, or you can hire a virtual assistant. We happen to have virtual assistant firm in the Philippines. Many of them are on the call or the live today. And but the only way to make sure that they can successfully represent you is to use some sort of AI tool. Now, we happen to use Evie.ai. It's about $17 a month. But what this does is it allows me to create a personal persona. And I've been working on this for months. I just made a few edits last night to adjust the responses to make them exactly what I want. But I can say, obviously, the persona name, the industry I'm in, the tone I want to use predominantly, and then keywords and phrases. These are going to be the hashtags I use in my posts and comments. And then I put this long background and history. So here I'm putting what company I work for, so that if there's questions or references, the AI tool knows it. Keywords to use. Let's see, going down, skills, communication style. That's the one I edited last night. Educational yet funny and entertaining, because you don't want to be opinionated and have strong opinions and offend other type A strong opinionated personalities or content creators. So you want to be engaging and funny and interactive and entertaining. So I adjusted mine to make them a little bit more lighthearted. I tested it and I had to change it about 3 times until the result of the comment that was AI generated truly represents even better than what I would probably come up with. And then tone, preferred phrases, taboos, personal interests, hobbies, all of that I list. And that way, when my personal public relations virtual assistant is commenting for me every day, let's just take one. Let's go home. We'll take one, and then we will wrap this up. Here's in now. This isn't particularly have the exact audience, but I'll use this as an example because there's 47 comments. So I'm going to comment, and I'm going to use my VA is going to use the tool. So I'm building relationships. I haven't met this person. Let's see. So I'm probably going to do a conversational tone because I want to keep the conversation going. And then, yes, I'm going to use my marketing persona. I'm going to generate a comment. It's going to read the post and then suggest a comment. And okay, so Tanya, what an incredible journey. Your story is a testament to resilience and power of financial literacy. Susie Orman's advice is gold, which I may change because I'm not a big fan of Susie Orman's. And it's amazing how you turned a tough situation into a life-challenging lesson. Thanks for sharing. And so I could go ahead, and again, because she's not my target market, I'm just going to go ahead and post that there. And I could go through and then find other people who might be my target audience with a large following. Now, it's not just a large following. You need to make sure it's a large following with somebody who is posting on a regular basis and has lots of comments on a regular basis, because they could have a large following but not be posting and engaging. So if you're scraping leads, you're looking for leads on Sales Navigator, always use the filter that they've posted in the last 5 days or 7 days, or whatever. They recently posted or regularly posted on LinkedIn. Okay, so that's your other option, is you can hire a PR manager, hour a day. It's like, $50 to $100 per day, depending on where you hire them from. We'd be happy to connect you with one if you're looking somebody who's trained, plus $17 a month for your AI and creating a persona. I'd be happy to, at no charge, help you create your persona. If you're using Evie.ai and you want to hire a PR manager, we can help you do that. And on the bottom, you can go to www.schedulewithrob.com, and I encourage you, one way or another, 10 and 10. Find 10 influencers with your target audience and make 10 comments every day. And then do the same thing with the groups that you join. Join 10 groups that have large followings of your target audience and make sure that you comment in each one of them every single day. That should take about an hour a day. And I'm telling you, you'll watch your content and your connections and followers exponentially grow week after week. Hopefully that was helpful for everyone. If you have any questions, again, schedulewithrob.com. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of the Digital Advisor Weekly.